I didn't grow up around kids like that, but I got you. I got you. Let me play this video.
Last Friday, someone wrote the words white and colored over water fountains here at McClatchy High School, obviously a reference to the Jim Crow era.
Tonight, we're learning the district is disciplining the student involved, but it stopped short of calling it racial hatred or a hate crime. Now, the district hired someone to oversee race and equity, which includes investigating racial incidents. Mark Harris tells me a black female student confessed to the vandalism, and the investigation shows her on camera. He tells me the student said she did it as a prank.
Now, this is a sensitive topic for so many because Sac City Unified School District has been plagued with racial incidents. The most recent includes students seeing several buildings at Abraham Lincoln Elementary School tagged with hate symbols and the N-word. The NAACP and community activists say they want to meet with the district to talk about how they can support black students through these events. Meanwhile, the district refers to the McClatchy incident as troubling vandalism.
I don't believe that those words that were on those water fountains were racist. I do not believe they were hate crime or hate speech. Part of it, quite honestly, is because the admitted perpetrator is an African-American young woman.
I disagree at it being a hate crime because at the end of the day, we understand when you have colored on one water faucet and white on another kind of water faucet, what that means, whether it's 1950 or 2022.
However, some activists question the evidence, citing mistrust of the district's handling of racism in the past. And I did ask if there had been any movement with the Abraham Lincoln case, and I've heard so far there's been no progress yet.
District excuses. We are tired of district letters. We are tired of we are investigating. What we want is consequences.
Sac City schools hit repeatedly with racist vandalism. Thanks for staying with us at 5:30. I'm Curtis Meng.
Right now at 9 o'clock, no bail for the 18-year-old man charged in the murder of a Hyde Park man who was robbed and stabbed while walking home from work. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jackie Bang.
And I'm Tamahn Bradley.
And I'm Tamahn Bradley. And if there was a story about somebody spray painted a slur on a wall somewhere in a city I'd never heard of, we would be on here almost in tears, pontificating and lamenting on the state of the nation and talking about how young people who look like me have it so bad and have such a hard road to toe in this nakedly racist country. But also, every night I do stories on Tamahn Bradley and others that look like me do stories on gliders being brutally murdered, and I don't bat an eye. There, I fixed it.
Whoever the miscreant that thinks they're going to come into our city and do this type of black hate crime.
Now that the perpetrator has been found to be black,
I do not believe they were hate crime or hate speech. Part of it, quite honestly, is because the admitted perpetrator is an African-American young woman.
you can't make this stuff up.
Right now at 9 o'clock, no bail for the 18-year-old man charged in the murder of a Hyde Park man who was robbed and stabbed while walking home from work. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jackie Bang.
And I'm Tamahn Bradley.
A man must have principles and must live and dine by these principles. He must never ever strike up a conversation about anything other than sport during sport. Shh, Kevin. He should be able to fix anything with duct tape. He knows no haircut is worth more than £5. Scientific fact. He hasn't made a mistake when there's a part left over. It simply never existed. Well done, son. And he must never eat a bacon sandwich without the big, bold flavour of HP sauce. Makes a sandwich a manwich. Yes.
HP, a source of manliness.
Now all of a sudden it's not a hate crime. Now all of a sudden it's not racism. Again, it's embarrassing, man. It just shows you what a lot of these people are about. They're simply about trying to find white racism, right? They don't care about any other type of hate crimes or any type of racism for any other group of people because, again, I'm not going to say that this wasn't automatically not racist because, hey, who knows? Maybe that black female student, maybe she harbored some feelings of hate or racism or whatever, right? So, again, I think it should be investigated as a hate crime because, again, there would be no benefit of doubt if the student was white, that this came from a place of hate. So I think it should be investigated both ways.
There is a suspect in custody, 18-year-old Keontae McShann, charged with first-degree murder and armed robbery.
I think he's a monster, that he does not have any humanity to be able to take a random person's life like that, just because, my brother was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Wow. What a measure. What a measure on Brita, man. God. She did call him a name though. Glider wouldn't have been able to say that. That's on Brita privilege, man. Glider wouldn't have been able to say nothing but man, gentleman, person.
Damas was leaving work at the Cove Lounge in the early morning hours of February 25th, walking home. Police say McShann approached him, stealing his wallet and then stabbing him in the chest and stomach in the 4900 block of South Greenwood Avenue in Kenwood, about 1 mile from the bar and just 2 blocks from Damas's home.
Did you notice what they said? That's one that gets me, man. Now, listen. That's just one that gets me. You done patted the guy down, took his wallet. I'm going to ponder that one. I haven't really given that one a lot of thought. Maybe y'all can help me in the chat with the psychology behind it. I get why they do. I just talk about I want to, I like to go down the rabbit hole. But that's one that I just, hey, why they do that?
Prosecutors say they have strong evidence linking McShann to the crime, including surveillance video that allegedly shows the teen walking to a gas station after the stabbing, then to his South Shore home. In court today, police say after executing a search warrant, they found Damas's wallet and bank card in McShann's room.
They found the man's wallet and bank card in the kid's room.
He should know the right tool for the job, and the right tool is always the most powerful.
When you find something like this, we find the black students quicker than we find the white students. We're dealing with West Campus still, months of West Campus, and we still haven't found the perpetrators for that. However, I get a call early in the morning from SAC PD saying they found the perpetrators immediately and was almost, in my opinion, joyful to tell me that allegedly that they were African Americans. That's not acceptable to me. I want you to put that same energy into West Campus. I want you to put that same energy into every school district that's dealing with these issues. It's a problem. We have racism that's rooted in this school district.
Even after this incident, they're still claiming racism here. They're still trying to not let the school off the hook and say, no, you guys are racist. The school is still racist because apparently they only investigated this as fast as they investigated it because the suspect was black. Take a look.
I want to be very mindful that it is alleged that there was an African American student that wrote this graffiti. Alleged.
So it doesn't matter who wrote it. What matters is the fact that the person wrote it. So therefore, they need to receive equal punishment, equal treatment. Okay? It should be investigated as a hate crime. This person should be charged with a hate crime. Okay? If it's a hate crime when, again, a white person does it, then it has to be a hate crime when a black person does it, regardless of intent, in my opinion.
And the sad part is that this kid, had he just tossed the wallet, even with all the other evidence,
His cupboard is his business, and his alone.
It still would have been a parade of sisters talking about something. They don't know if he did that, right? Who know you don't know he did it. It ain't no. They look what they did to our director the other day. They just be pulling brothers' names out of hats whenever somebody get robbed or killed or something. I promise you, like, I'm not even like being hyperbolic. They're really like that. But he can't even get that, like, that support, because the wallet and the bank card's in his room. Now he could say he was walking home and he found it, and some sisters will be like, "Yeah, that's what happened." But he not gonna get the same support as if it was just up in the air.
Because I think that when you fake something like this, it's even worse than actually committing the real crime. And the reason why, because you're faking it with the intent of trying to stir up some type of racial drama at school, right? You're not even doing it because you actually believe the stuff. Maybe, who knows, maybe the student actually does. I don't know, but I'm just saying. I love how all of a sudden, because the student is black, it's automatically assumed that it's not hate anymore and that it was fake, right? Do we know what the student's actual intentions was? Because again, when the assumption was that the student was white, there was no benefit of the doubt, right? Nobody's going to say, oh, well, what was the student's intentions? Did they intend to be hateful, or was this just a prank?
Justice has to be served, and actions have consequences. And it's a pain we're never going to recover from, but we're going to take it day by day and stick together as a family and continue to remember my brother.
Police say McShann had an active juvenile warrant out for an aggravated carjacking.
Of course, he had an active warrant out for an aggravated carjacking. Of course.
Right? Again, if the student was white, nobody would ever give that student the benefit of the doubt and say, no, this is a prank. But because the student is black, all of a sudden now it's a prank. It's not a hate crime. It's not racist anymore.
That's every time. And of course, they're going to find he's been arrested 2 or 3 times this year already and released. He's got an extensive record from before this year. Violence, not like loitering or you know.
Again, this is clown behavior, man. And these people look silly. I'm sorry to tell you, they look silly. That's why I'm laughing, because of the silliness.
Violence. The fact that it doesn't terrify these pasty liberals in these cities where these gun laws are so strict and almost virtually none of them carry. The fact that it doesn't terrify them enough to take action. That there's hundreds in a city like Chicago, thousands.
Okay? But again, I wouldn't be surprised if the perpetrator of the other incident, particularly that happened at an elementary school, wouldn't be surprised if it was the same student, right? Wouldn't be surprised. So what happens is that they move on to the next one. Well, y'all haven't found a suspect for this one, right? Still thinking in their head, they must be white. We got to get this one. We got to get this one. And if they turn out not to be white, then all of a sudden you can say, well, that wasn't really a hate incident. That wasn't really a incident of racism, even though they told us the whole time that this is a hate crime and this is racism. Right? Until somebody that's not white is found to actually be the perpetrator. Again, it's embarrassing. It is so embarrassing for multiple reasons. First and foremost, because people put their energy behind stuff like this. You put all this energy and emotion behind some words, first and foremost. And then 2, because as soon as you find that the person that did it was not the race that you thought did it, all of a sudden, you change up all the energy now. Okay?
Of guys like this walking the streets, hunting, like not just out there, like, you know, you take a turn down the wrong block and you run into one of them. Like, they're coming to your neighbor. They're coming down. They're looking for you. That's got to be terrifying, man. The fact that they're not terrified by that enough to take actions is amazing, man. Gluttons for punishment, man.
Police say McShann had an active juvenile warrant out for an aggravated carjacking. The victim's family says when they fly home tomorrow, they plan to bring Damas's ashes back to Italy, where he is from, and his father is also buried.
Oh, it was a glider, man. Wow. Story came full circle, man. Italian, man. Wow. Hey.
Yeah, the people that did it should be brought to justice. But you shouldn't be out here protesting, boohooing, and crying about it because, again, it's, at the end of the day, it's just stuff on the wall. Nobody was harmed. Nobody was hurt. People get more upset about this than they do about folks actually getting killed, right? And then once it's all said and done, not only do you want to say, oh, it's not hate and it's not racist anymore, you still want to try to accuse the school of being racist.
What happened today is not extraordinary.
Yeah, thank you very much. God bless you. And God bless.
Thank you all. Hallelujah. Clap to your president. Clap to your president right now.
For God's sake, this man cannot remain in power.
So love me, so love me, so love me now.